bone, baby.
Marco!
And you're breathing? Back to normal yet?
Mostly. Still feels a little weird, though. Guess I'm not used to having the tube out. But it's nothing that would keep it...
The place in broad daylight?
Seems...
That way.
The mayor's all right. Always painting too rosy a picture, though.
Well, nope. Need something? You got some business with me? Oh. Well, if the marshal sent you to me, that means he's looking to recruit you. Just so you know what you're getting into, I'll explain who we are and what we do. Well, the Freestar Rangers ensure the safety and security of the Freestar Collective and its people. We might hunt down a fugitive, break up a smuggling operation, investigate a starship theft, or put some would-be bank robbers behind bars. Whatever needs doing to keep the people safe, we do. Me too. Probably half the kids in the Freestar Collective did. But like with most legends, the truth is usually a little less glamorous. I imagine you've got some questions. I'll answer anything I can. The number's always changing due to retirements, recruiting, and unfortunately, death in the line of duty. But as far as I know, there's never been more than a dozen Rangers at any one time. Well, in theory, a Freestar Ranger can go anywhere in Freestar Collective space, even private property. But of course, it doesn't always work out that way. We also have jurisdiction over any local security when we're tracking a fugitive. Okay then. A word about myself. I'm in charge of making sure anyone that wants to be a Freestar Ranger is up to the task. That being said, the Marshal wouldn't send you here if he didn't think you had potential. So, what's it gonna be? Are you ready to sign up with the Freestar Rangers? I prefer a more practical kind of evaluation. I'll give you the details if you want to join up.
Might be a good fit for you. The Rangers can do a lot of good.
Before I hand you a badge, I need to know you can handle the job. You helped out with the hostage situation, but sometimes people just get lucky. Tell you what, use the mission terminal and take one of the listed jobs. Your choice. Come back alive, and we'll talk about you joining up. Then I suggest you get going.
Well, hey there.
A year or two back, I shared a drink with Ron Hope. That man... and drink.
I picked up something you might be interested in. Landing site locked. Take us in.
Some make it seem like he built the whole damn Freestar Collective.
Work hard, play hard. That should be the Freestar motto.
Oh, you're back. How'd it go? Good. You did what I asked, so let's go meet the Marshal. Follow me.
Welcome to the Rock, I guess.
We're headquartered in the upper floors of the Rock, but we also have remote stations throughout Freestar Collective space. Helps us to identify and respond to threats more quickly. Like I said before, there are less than a dozen Rangers in all, and we operate with limited resources. Thankfully, most people respect us and are willing to cooperate. In this job, your eyes, ears, and wits are every bit as important as your badge and your sidearm. Marshal.
Emma! I take it you're here because you're satisfied that our new recruit can handle the job.
Seems capable enough, and we could use the help.
All right, then. Step forward, recruit. Let me have a word with you.
Holy sh! I ain't never getting used to that.
I've got just one question. Do you pledge to defend the people of the Freestar Collective, even if it means risking your own life? You've already had a glimpse of what we deal with. I'm not going to lie to you. It can get a lot more dangerous than what you've seen. So what's your answer? You up for this? Good. Here, take these. You're now a Freestar Ranger deputy. I'm assigning you to Ranger Wilcox for some field training. Listen good to what she tells you. Welcome aboard, deputy.
Congratulations. The Rangers ain't a bad outfit, and they're lucky to have you.
Wish we could throw you a welcome party, but there's work to do. We got word from a farmer on Montera Luna. She says someone's trying to take her farm, and she's afraid she might be in danger. Well, it's a moon that orbits Montera. It's got a breathable atmosphere, warm climate, and good soil for growing. Just a name. Akila Wagner. There have been Wagoners on Montera Luna for a long time, and I'm sure they're proud of that heritage. Well, most things do at the start. Doesn't mean they stay that way. That being said, best not to assume anything. Just try to keep an open mind. Grab any supplies you might need, and let's get going.
Pay attention to what Ranger Wilcox tells you.
This is Freestar Space. Please hold your current speed and heading while we scan you for contraband. Scan complete. You're clear to land.
Landing now.
Over here!
The Freestar Rangers. You have no idea how happy I am to see you.
I'm Ranger Emma Wilcox. My deputy and I are here to help. Now, tell us what happened.
I was out planting in the fields when I saw some men approaching. They looked like soldiers with uniforms and weapons and such. They wanted to buy the farm. Didn't even ask if it was for sale. Their offer was so low, I told them right where they could stick it. They said they'd give me time to think about it, but if I didn't change my mind, I was gonna regret it. Then they left. There were 4, but when they were walking away, I heard them talking like there were others. Maybe there's more out there. Nothing I can think of, no. Truth is, we're in some hard times here. The last harvest was the worst we've had in a long time. Besides, it ain't like there's a lack of available land around here. That's right. The uniforms look like the ones worn by Freestar soldiers back during the war. They had a certain steel in their eyes, like men who were used to violence. I was in fear for my life. Back behind the house, there's some canyons. They went that way. That place is dangerous. Steep slopes, narrow trails, rock slides, and all manner of hostile creatures, too. If you're going after those men, be careful. Oh, there's one other thing. They said they were the first. The first of what, I'm not sure. But there must be more of them coming.
Thank you, ma'am. That should be enough for us to find these men. All right, Deputy. Keep that weapon handy and your eyes sharp. Since these guys don't know we're after them, they're probably not making an effort to hide their tracks. Now, let's go and check out those canyons.
Let's move quick and steady. Heads on a swivel.
Glad to have you along, Sam. Boot tracks. Several pairs by the look. Not too old either.
Scanner pick up anything fun?
Canyon and see if we can find more. Quiet out here. I like it. Nice change of pace from Akila City. You smell that? I'd bet my badge that's wood smoke from a campfire. They're close. Be ready.
Fun times ahead. Stay frosty. How on earth do you do that?
We're gonna have some fun.
Well now, look who's here. Ms. Wagner called in the cavalry. Except it ain't much of a cavalry. I suggest you turn around and walk away while you still can.
A firefight here could get messy. Some good old-fashioned talking might be the ticket.
Oh, it ain't exactly the farm that's special, but that ain't none of your business. Don't recognize the uniforms. Guess I shouldn't be surprised. It's like the Major said, everyone's conveniently forgotten. Forgotten our sacrifice. Forgotten how we were betrayed. We'll make them all remember soon enough. I promise you that. You think you're in a position to make demands. Well, I've got news for you. All you're getting from me is a shallow grave. So, got any last words I should try to remember? Oh, I think it does. We've been found out! Don't let him leave here alive!
You're mine! Never mind.
Another day, another kill.
Time to tango.
You've got no idea who you're messing with.
Oh, did you get it? Whatever it was.
Damn, that was a lot rougher than I expected. Let's talk. Find anything interesting? Let's see what we have here. Interesting. So, their ship was stolen from the Hope Tech factory. Whoever pulled that off must have been one hell of a shipjacker. Well, I guess someone really wants that farm bad. Speaking of which, let's get back there and let Miss Wagner know that she's safe. For now.
What happened? Did you find those men? Well, it's good to see you're all right then. They must have been crazy or desperate, trying to take on the Freestar Rangers. So who were they? And why do they want my farm? Hope Tech? The cargo ship company? Sorry, I don't know anything about that. They say the Rangers always get their man, so to speak. I'm sure you'll figure it out. I can't thank you enough. I'd hate to be remembered as the wagoner who couldn't hold on to the farm that's been in the family for so long. Of course. All the same, I'm grateful.
If you have any more trouble, give us a call. We're in system, so it won't take long to get someone out here. All right, Deputy. Let's get back to the rock. We need to report this to the Marshal.
What's the story on Montero Luna?
That call we got from Wagoner Farm turned out to be a little more interesting than I was expecting. Some men were trying to run the Wagoners off their land. They tried to buy it first, but when that didn't work, they turned to threats. We confronted them, and unfortunately, it came to violence. None of them survived.
You helped someone in need and came back alive. That's a job well done. For the time being, yes, but you could still be in danger. That's why we need to fill in some blanks. What did you make of these men who were trying to take the farm? If that's true, then someone must have hired them. Now, did you find anything that might give us a lead on why these men wanted the farm? Hope Tech ships ain't exactly cheap. That thief could probably tell us a lot about these men you ran into.
There's something else. They were dressed in Freestar militia uniforms. The unit badge was yellow on black with the number 1. They also said something about being forgotten. They seemed bitter about it, resentful. Didn't you fight in the Colony War, Marshal? Any of that sound familiar?
The 1st Cavalry. I was in that unit for a while. But it was disbanded decades ago. After the Battle of Nera. What was left of it, anyway. The war between the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective? Worst conflict the settled systems has ever seen. Each side unleashed terrible weapons on the other. And countless people died. The armistice was signed 20 years ago. But a lot of folks still bear their scars. I suppose it ain't impossible, but it's real damn unlikely. The unit was pretty much wiped out, and the few that survived ended up in prison after a court-martial for disobeying orders. I don't recall how long the sentence was. The 1st Cavalry lost almost all their mechs and soldiers in a big push to take a United Colonies base. They were just about there when a ceasefire order came down. Both sides had just lost too much by then. It was a bloodbath. The commanding officer of the 1st disobeyed the order. He didn't want the lives of his soldiers to be sacrificed for nothing. They court-martialed him, and the rest of the surviving officers, and locked them all up. Hell, it's our only lead. The Hope Tech factory is in Hope Town on Polvo. Nia Kalu's our ranger stationed out there. She can introduce you to Ron Hope, the president of Hope Tech. He might be able to help you find the thief. Just make sure you stay on his good side. He's on the Council of Governors, and they're the ones we answer to. the ruling body that oversees the Freestar Collective and the Rangers. The council members are the political and corporate elite of the Freestar Collective, so we have to tread lightly when we're dealing with them. Proud, stubborn, and smart. A self-made man. He built Hope Tech through blood, sweat, and sheer willpower. Good. The last thing I need is the council breathing down my neck. This is your assignment now, Deputy. Work with the other Rangers. Find out what you can about those men on Montera Luna. Meantime, I'll look into a possible connection with the 1st Cavalry. Good hunting.
Ship is now docked. Perfect. Didn't even smudge the paint.
No one's gonna believe me if I tell them you could do that.
Please tell me you're here to help, not to try and steal my ship. Welcome aboard, Deputy. Sorry if I can't give you the grand tour just yet. I was tracking a crew of outlaws that's been preying on merchant ships. Bastards got the drop on me. I ran them off, but they got a few good hits in. As you can see, I ain't in much shape to make repairs. No chance. They took as much of a beating as I did. While outnumbering me 3-1, I'd like to point out. I'll be fine once the pain medication kicks in. The priority right now is the ship. Can't do my job without it. Just patch her up enough to get to Hopetown. The rest can get fixed up there. Thanks. I owe you one.
Rangers always got each other's back.
Thanks. That should get me home. You're right. They were pretty beat up, so I don't think they got real far. But if they make it back to their hideout, I might never find them again. We can't let that happen. Light armaments, not too fast. Pilots are gifted amateurs, but still amateurs. You'll be outnumbered, but they'll be damaged, which should even things up for you. They look to be heading for Polvo's moon Miatha. Good hunting.
Docking seal released.
Site is sufficient. Ship down.
To think one man made all of this. Nothing was here until Ron Hope.
How was Ma?
Oh, same as usual, except now all she does is... Excuse me! A little desperate here.
This was literally nothing until Ron Hope came here.
Pardon. Yes?
I don't want to hear any complaints.
You made it. Those outlaws didn't give you too much trouble, I trust? I can walk, talk, and breathe without too much pain. That's good enough for me. Good. I'm sure it didn't hurt that I softened him up for you. You've got good timing. A courier just came in from Akila. The Marshal sends his regards along with a briefing on your case. I was surprised as hell to learn about the starship theft. Nobody said a word to me about it. Anyway, Mr. Hope can see us whenever you're ready. If you need to take a little time first, feel free. No, and I can't get answers as to why not. I'm sure Mr. Hope has his reasons. His office is upstairs. He's in a meeting, but it should be wrapping up. Come on.
Trucks in space. Their motto always cracks me up.
Just the founder and president of Hope Tech. He's on the Council of Governors. The Council oversees the Freestar Rangers, so don't rile him up. I've spent a long time trying to build a good relationship with Hope. He comes on a little strong, but there's a lot to admire about the man. Everything you see around you, he built. Pretty much everyone in this town owes him for their livelihood. Can't begin to imagine the kind of pressure that must put on someone. All I'm saying is, try to show a little respect. All the way up. Is it just me, or does every executive in the settled systems have an office on the top floor? I guess being above everyone makes them feel like they're, well, above everyone.
Contract with scavengers, maybe. But that's a decision that's got to be made upstairs.
You're still a human, right?
It's not a bad idea, provided we get a good deal. And I don't mean a fair deal. I mean a good deal. Remember, it's not just our bottom line that matters. We're also responsible for the welfare of everyone in the factory. Look out for our people here, Bridget. That's a point of great personal pride.
Excuse me, Mr. Hope?
Well now, the Freestar Rangers. At last! Ah, Dad, good to see you. I think we're done here, Bridget.
Yes, sir.
This is the deputy I told you about.
Splendid. Splendid! It's a noble calling being a Freestar Ranger. We certainly could use more of I'm sure I don't have to tell you what an outrage it is to have a ship stolen right out of the factory. Justice must be done, and the sooner the better. That's good news. I'll send my people over to bring it home. Of course, that doesn't mean your work is done. I want the thief found and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. I'm sure I don't need to remind you of my position on the Council of Governors. I'm glad we understand each other.
I'd take Ron Hope over Benjamin Bayou any day of the week. Looks like we got a job to do.
Now, tell me that you've at least got a lead of some kind. Well, I can't say I'm surprised. Sadly, there's no lack of mercenaries in the settled systems. I suppose the chance to cut costs by stealing a ship was too good to pass up. Well, I'm not sure I can be much help, but I'll answer whatever questions I can. No, nothing at all. It was just a standard Hope Tech cargo hauler. Not that it didn't have great value, mind you. Hope Tech builds some of the most durable and reliable starships in the settled systems. Now, you can bet my ships last twice as long as anything Stroud Eklund makes. We questioned everyone who was in the building when it happened, and not one person seems to have seen anything at all. Frankly, I think that's both highly unlikely and more than a little suspicious. However, I can't deny there are times when the hangar is empty, so it's not inconceivable the thief could have slipped in unseen. What? Nonsense! We vet our people thoroughly here. Hope Tech holds its employees to the very highest standards. Nevertheless, I suppose I could have Cosette conduct a thorough personnel review. Rest assured, if we turn up any evidence that one of our people was an accomplice, I'll let you know. Because I told them not to. If word got out, it would do irreparable harm to our image. I'm in fierce competition with other starship manufacturers. Any sign of weakness could be fatal. What's more, every starship thief in the settled systems would likely flock to Hopetown and start planning the next heist. Very well. I need you to understand something, Deputy. This town is home to men, women, and children who depend on Hope Tech for a living. I provide jobs that put food on their tables and a roof over their heads. It's a responsibility that I take very seriously. If word gets out about the stolen ship, my investors will lose trust, and my workers will pay the price. I can't allow that.
You've got a reputation for looking after your own, Mr. Hope. I'm sure the deputy here will keep that in mind.
Is that so? Well, I'm glad to hear it. I've worked hard to make sure that everyone here is well cared for. I'm glad we understand one another.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Hope. There's been a development.
Not now, Cosette. I'm in the middle of something.
But sir, we have new information. I've just received a report that the stolen ship was seen landing at Neon just after the theft.
A breakthrough at last. Well, Deputy, it sounds like you'll be heading to Neon, which means I can get back to work. Remember what we discussed. My people are depending on you.
Hey, can I get a word? That wasn't as helpful as it could have been. Still, at least you know where to pick up the trail. Let's hope. So, guess you're headed for Neon. There's a ranger stationed there. Name's Jalen Price. He's a little different than the rest of us. But Neon's a different kind of place. He's what I'd call a pragmatist. He sees things for what they are. He's also well connected, which means a lot on Neon. You should listen to what he tells you. It'll keep you out of trouble. He should be able to help you out. Well, we've both got work to do. It was good to meet you, Deputy. Thanks again for helping me out up there. I'll be taking it easy for a couple of days. Need time to heal up. Then, I need to get back up there and keep an eye out for more pirates. I'm hoping to track one of their ships so I can find their hideout. Guess we could both use a little luck, huh? No problem. Good luck on Neon, Deputy.
Go for landing.
Hey, I don't care who you work for. You can't just... Oh, you're the rookie, aren't you? The one and only. Well, the Marshal's message said you were following a lead about a stolen ship. Truth is, a lot of stolen goods flow through here, but this city is real good at keeping its secrets. Even from us. No, I think you should be careful. You can count on my help if you play by the rules. This isn't Akila City. The badge doesn't carry the same weight here. The people who run this place aren't overly concerned about the law. Our job is to keep the peace, make sure the violence doesn't get out of hand. The last thing anyone around here wants is some hotshot deputy looking in every dark corner.
Neon's a tough assignment. The ecosystem is rigged against any real law enforcement.
That would be Benjamin Bayou. He's out to squeeze every credit he can from the people of this city, and he doesn't much care who gets hurt in the process. He's also got a seat on the Council of Governors, which proves that if you've got enough credits, you can buy anything you want. Good.
That's a smart play. As much as it rankles.
Your stolen ship would have had to land at the spaceport. If it was right off the factory floor, it would have stood out. There's a guy I know, Billy Clayton, does maintenance work around the city and keeps an eye on ship traffic for me. I'll introduce you, but don't expect a favor. Even if it doesn't cost credits, nothing in Neon is free. Believe it or not, yeah, it was. My mother's an executive with Ryujin, so I grew up here. I volunteered for this post as much to keep the other Rangers out of trouble as any other reason. If some hotshot rookie took this job and started flashing the badge everywhere, it wouldn't end well. Nah, I've got friends in high places, so to speak. I'm the son of a Ryujin Industries executive. Maybe you've heard of her. Name's Alexis Price. There's a sort of fragile peace here in Neon. It's better for everyone if the syndicates and the corporations coexist with minimum friction. Stay out of people's business until you can't. Be willing to let the small stuff slide. Don't break up a fight unless it's getting out of hand. Most of all, don't assume that badge will protect you. Of course, Neon's full of desperate people who have nowhere else to turn. For some, it's the drugs. For others, it's gambling. There are a lot of ways to lose everything in this city. My rule is simple. If someone brought it on themselves, I don't get involved. Rangers are supposed to exercise good judgment. I'm one person here. I can't help everybody. The best I can do is try to protect the ones who are innocent. And believe me, it's a full-time job. This is Neon. There are no guarantees, and who I find trustworthy changes on a daily basis. Talk to him or don't, it's your call. Come on. That was pretty impressive how you volunteered to help out with the bank heist in Akila City. Yeah, I read all the reports. You learn quickly that in Neon, staying informed and staying alive are closely linked. What stood out to me was that you didn't lose a single hostage. No wonder the Marshal tried to recruit you right away. If he hadn't, it would have made him look like a fool, having some random stranger step in and do the job he couldn't. Now, if someone tried to hold up a bank here, they'd be gunned down without a moment. But you understand that, don't you? That's why you just told me that you won't cause trouble. Keep that in mind, and you'll fit right in.
Epside's a bad place for tourists these days. Whole area's gone to hell.
I think I got them. What do you call them? Horns? Yeah, I got horns.
I have to dress up these days. It's exhausting.
Hey, Billy, got a second? What?
Oh, it's you. Gave me a good scare. I thought you were one of Goodman's people.
Check. Far from it. Our new deputy here is working a case, and I thought you might be able to help. Take it away, rookie.
I'm hanging in there.
That is,
What do you need?
something else.
A stolen Hope-Tech ship, huh? Well, here's the thing. Neon's got no end of shipjackers. I see them come and go every day. It's tough for a guy to remember one from the other. You know what I mean?
I can see where this is going.
Yeah, well, I'm one of them. I can help you, but right now my life is in danger, and I haven't even done anything wrong. Freestar Rangers are supposed to protect the innocent, right? Please, just hear me out, okay? I need to know I can count on you. Then you need to hear this. It's about my brother. He died while still in debt to a syndicate loan shark by the name of Emmett Goodman. Now, Goodman's coming after me to collect. He says if I don't pay up, I'm a dead man.
This Emmett Goodman sounds like a real class act.
Yeah. He's bad even by Neon standards. That's saying something. From where I'm standing, seems like our problems are intertwined like a couple of fuel lines in a thruster assembly. Yeah, I hope so. I'd like to help you. I really would. Maybe. I need to think about it. I hear you. I'm trying to be reasonable here. Okay. Had to try, right? The woman you're looking for is named Grace Early. Stealing ships is her line of work. She usually comes here to sell the goods. Rumor has it she just finished a job for some mercenary outfit, and she's been throwing money around, so it must have paid well.
I know her. When she isn't out on a job, she's a regular at Madame Sauvage's. That's on the upper platform. I'll back you up.
Well, what about me? You just gonna leave me twisting in the wind here?
If I were you, I'd get the hell out of Neon and start over somewhere else.
Oh, great. A Freestar Ranger, and his... What are you? A sidekick or something?
Now, this is the last time I'm gonna ask. Then I'm walking away. Do you want this stuff or not?
Now that's what I call real conviction. So how come I'm talking to the sidekick instead of the ranger?
This is the deputy's case.
Is that so? And you had to bring backup just for little old me? I'm flattered. Anyway, this ain't my first interrogation, so let's just get on with it. A time or two, maybe more. And yet here I am, walking free. Aw, ain't you polite? I'm guessing this is the part where you tell me that you've got questions and that you expect me to answer them. That sound about right? All right. So I jacked a ship. It was just a little fun. I didn't even keep it. It was a job. I turned it over to some men, and they took off for who knows where. End of story. Nothing I did put anyone in danger, okay? Look. They didn't tell me what they were gonna do. How was I supposed to know they were gonna go after some farmer?
You should have asked when you took the contract. If that woman had been killed, you'd be an accessory to murder. Did you think about that?
No, I guess I didn't. It's not that simple. I do understand. I'm trying to figure out a way to help you, okay? I'm still willing to talk. I guess if I can't trust a Freestar Ranger, then I can't trust anyone, right? I was approached by a woman named Maya Cruz. Said she was a senior member of the First and that she had a job for me. She was working with someone inside Hope Tech and pitched me on the idea of jacking a ship right out of the factory. We were deep into planning the job when she had some kind of medical emergency. She said she needed surgery and would be in recovery for a long time. That was a few weeks ago. Haven't heard from her since. Not long after that, I got a message from a guy named Marco. He said he was the money man for the First, and he offered half up front. Never met him directly, though. It was always through intermediaries and using encrypted slates. Got the feeling he was paranoid as hell.
Do you have one of those encrypted slates on you right now?
Yeah. Here. Take it. I'm done with all this. Anything else you want to know? Nothing, really. I was told when and where to meet them. They paid me what I was owed, and that was it. Not so much as a hint. I'll tell you. He's as cagey a fixer as I've ever met.
Bankrolling the First must take a lot of money. I'm sure he's got all kinds of side hustles going on.
No. Nothing at all. Left me feeling a little disappointed, given how well they paid me. Yeah, sure.
Next time you're at the Rock, you should give that encrypted slate to Ranger Alex Shadid. He's got a gift for cryptography. If anyone can crack that slate, it'll be him. I'm gonna head back. Good luck, Deputy.
Then I'm free to go. Oh. You're welcome. Guess I ain't used to the law being so polite.
Good to see you. Hey, I wondered when you might come by. I'm Alex. Nia's report said you were heading for Neon? I've always wanted to go there. What did you think? Oh, I can't fly anywhere. Issues with my Eustachian tubes. Being in a pressurized environment is like someone taking a laser cutter to the sides of my head. It's not great, but at least I can pretend to visit the party capital of the galaxy by having you tell me about it. Yeah, I bet. It just sounds so exciting and so stimulating. Probably makes Akila City look like the more boring backwater town in the settled systems by comparison. Alas, I'll have to experience it vicariously through you and the other Rangers. So how'd it go? Turn up anything useful? Did he now? Well, in that case, challenge accepted. It's only a matter of time before I know every dirty little secret stored in this thing. Now, if you get any more of these, bring them to me. It helps if I can compare different instances of the encryption they're using. Just look for me up here. I have no life, so I'm not usually hard to find. It'll take as long as it takes. You can't rush a job like this. One thing I can promise you, though, is that it'll go a lot faster if I don't have to answer silly questions. You're counting on me. You know I outrank you, right? Please and thank you go a long way when addressing your betters, rookie.
Better this than being some dust wrangler on Montara Luna.
That is simply... whoa.
Welcome back. Any luck finding out who stole that ship from Hope Tech? Glad you got a chance to meet him. Sounds like you're making real progress. You're off to a good start, but that's all it is, a start. What did you learn from this starship thief? Now we're getting somewhere. Sounds like you've got a couple of new leads to follow up on. I have a guess who Marco might be. I served with Maya Cruz. She's a technical genius and an expert hacker. I can give you some background if you want it, or we can go straight to planning your next move. There was a mech driver in the 1st Cavalry named Marco Graziani. He came from money, and when the 1st Cav got a reputation as the top unit, he transferred in. Rumor was that bribes made it happen. Marco had a knack for getting hold of anything we needed. There was talk the family fortune came from smuggling, and I believe it. He had this dream to become a wealthy businessman when he got out. But I guess that got put on hold when they locked him up. They said she was a child prodigy, which probably explains her arrogance. Even so, she was fiercely loyal to Major Hull. I don't think she'd ever give him up. If you find her, don't expect her to cooperate. Like what? Most likely place would be the clinic. It's in Freestar collective space and provides the best medical services credits can buy. They also guarantee privacy, so it's an ideal place for someone trying to keep a low profile. Ranger Ben Armistead is posted there. I'll send him an update on the situation. Around the time he got out of jail, we started hearing Marco's name in circulation. Word is he's heading up a smuggling racket. Based on what you've learned, I'd presume he's funneling his ill-gotten gains to the 1st. Ranger Autumn McMillan is out at Red Mile right now, looking into the smuggling operation. I suggest you pool your resources. Just remember, that's outside Freestar collective space, so we've got no jurisdiction there. Your priority is to gather more intel about the 1st. What are they planning? Who are they working for? Where are they headquartered? Just remember that your targets were locked up because they were loyal to their unit. They think the Freestar Collective betrayed them. In other words, you ain't gonna get a warm welcome, so be careful. Good hunting, Deputy.
Respect priority docking for emergency patients. The clinic welcomes all.
Time to cycle the airlock and move.
You see any heat leeches, you got our permission to take care of them.
Yeah? Got some trouble? Oh, now hold on a minute. You're the new deputy, ain't you? Yeah, the marshal's been sending out reports, keeping us all in the loop in your investigation. Well, now that'd be telling, wouldn't it? It ain't anything bad, if that's what you're wondering. You just keep your mind on the task at hand. Yep, I'm pretty well caught up on things. Ben Armistead, pleased to meet you. Well, I guess that's the long and short of it. You're the newest member of the Rangers, and I'm the oldest.
How you doing, old man?
Well, I'll be a dust wrangler's cousin, Sam Coe. Oh, it's been too damn long. Why, Cora must be what, 9, 10 years old by now?
I wish. She's 12.
Almost a teenager? My goodness. And here I thought I had enough gray hairs already. So, are you back?
Oh, no, nothing like that. I'm just out here to watch the deputies back and see what kind of trouble we can get into.
I see. Well, back to the matter at hand, then. So, is one of them first mercenaries here at the clinic? Well, every ranger knows it's important to trust your instincts. No better place in the settled systems to get medical treatment. You can bet it beats anything them UC piglets got. Ironic, given they're the ones who built it. I know just the man who can help you. Right this way, deputy. Just between you and me, I ain't entirely sure why someone felt the need to station a ranger out here. I'm not much more than a glorified bodyguard for Dr. Darvish. She's the one in charge around here. And she's also on the Council of Governors. Most of the staff don't seem fond of the idea of me being
The last thing I want
I
is
ain't
to
fond
charge you
of
for a
them right
DP,
back.
an A and B, a
Bunch
B and E,
of
pedigree,
stuffy eggheads, if you ask me. Except Ari, that is. He's about the only one I can have a conversation with. Hey there, Ari. Working hard or hardly working?
Hey, Chief. A little more the former than the latter. What brings you by?
Well, the deputy here could use some help. Came looking for someone who might be a patient.
I'll see what I can do.
Well,
That really happened, right?
Capable hands. You need anything else, I'll be in my office.
I'll try to help you, but our computer systems have been having some issues. The patient records database is acting up. Access is a lot slower than normal, and I have no idea why. I'll look into it later. For now, let's focus on your investigation. Huh. Well, we don't give the patients free access to our computer system, so I doubt that's related. Still, it's worth keeping in mind. So who's the suspect you're after? Former soldier, huh? Yeah, they say war changes people forever. Makes me sad. The thought of soldiers who come home and don't fit in anymore? The name's not ringing any bells, but maybe we can approach this another way. Do you know what was wrong with her? That should help narrow things down. I can access the patient records from my terminal, assuming the database cooperates. Come on.
It'd be enough to know that the Rangers are keeping an eye on us, but to have it be my own husband, so comforting.
Okay, give me just a minute here. Maya Cruz. Maya Cruz. Come on, Maya. I need you to be in here. Okay, finally. Here we go. Oh. No matches found for a Maya Cruz. If Maya's here, then she's got to be using an alias. Which actually makes a lot of sense if she's a wanted woman. I guess it's possible. Maybe I can give you another option. All right, hang on. I know that we do have a few female patients staying with us. There's Candace... what's her last name? Doolin. Candace Doolin. And then there's the Nakamori woman. I think her name's Jane. I don't recall offhand what they're here for, but it's a start. You're welcome to use the Ranger Station terminal. I'll enable admin access for you.
You know if you go out there with no helmet on?
If you need assistance, please see Ari Miller at the desk.
Yes. What do you want? Yes, that's right.
I'm afraid we don't take walk-ins. If you want a room in our VIP wing, you'll need to make arrangements in advance. Even if that were true, which I doubt, access to that area is strictly limited. Who exactly are you? You could be Solomon Coe himself, and my answer would be the same. No. The rules are the rules, no exceptions.
There's no progress that bureaucracy can't ruin.
Oh, I wasn't aware. I suppose if I can't trust a colleague, then I can't trust anyone. This will get you in. Conduct your investigation quickly and without disruption. I do hope you won't make me regret this.
Holding up all right, dude. I'm certainly not bored. Thanks for asking, Rebecca.
The clinic's a bit of a legend in the medical field.
Jump complete. Normal propulsion restored.
We're docking and complete.
Heard your ship, Doc. If you are who I think you are, then you're here to bring me in. I had to warn you. I've had more than enough time to prepare for this. So either you leave now, or I'll be burying what's left of you.
Well,
What are you waiting for? Finish it. Yeah. We've got a base, a good one, too. Spent months of my life getting that place up and running. As for where it is, you're going to have to figure that out on your own. Because that's what we were hired to do. The pay was good, too. But the best part was getting to stick it to the people who turned their backs on us. Of course it is! We spent 20 years behind bars because our leaders got scared and called off our attack just when we had the battle won. And did the people of the Freestar Collective that we fought and died for come to our defense? No! They did nothing. Nothing! Well, now they can die. Just like most of our unit did. I can't wait until you find out. Fine. I ain't feeling conversational anyway. You might not think so now, but it's likely to end up that way. How about I make this real simple for us both? I've got maybe a few weeks to live, and I ain't spending them behind bars. You want to put an end to me here and now? Then fine. Get it over with. Life's kicked me around enough as it is. But if you want to let me die on my own terms, then leave me in peace. I've been abused or abandoned by everyone I ever got close to. Gave up on people and put my faith in machines instead. Wasn't until I came to the 1st Cavalry and met Major Hull that I felt I could trust someone again. Well, how about a test? Rangers are known to be handy with a gun. But here's a problem you'll have to solve with your brain instead. I've encrypted this slate. If you can crack it, you'll learn something useful. Now get out of here, and leave me in peace.
Helga says I spend too much time at my terminal. He's probably right. Hey there, Deputy. Way I hear it, you've been keeping busy jumping from one side of the Freestar Collective to the other. How do you like the job so far? That's good to hear. So, what brings you by? It's going well so far. I think I'm close to a breakthrough. With enough data, I'll be able to tell you everything they're up to. Well, well, what do we have here? Well, this is new. Very interesting indeed. I'll see what I can do. If you can get me another one of these, it'll give me more context for the encryption and should speed things up. In the meantime, you be careful out there, Deputy. From what I've heard, these mercs mean business.
Landing site is clear. Let's head down.
Please, please tell me you aren't gonna run the Red Mile. Before the Red Mile Bloodsport thing, this used to be a decent place. Now...
Go ahead. Start some trouble. Give me an excuse to air you out.
I didn't do anything wrong!
Bullshit. You didn't think we'd notice that you tried to slip away without paying your check?
I was just going out for some fresh air. I even told the bartender. You can ask her yourself.
Fresh air, huh? On a planet with no atmosphere.
That's enough, Stalker. Lower your weapon. We don't shoot guests over a misunderstanding. Sir, please return to your table. It's bad practice to leave our establishment without paying your bill first. If you need some fresh air, pay up, go outside, and come back in and start a new check when you're ready.
I'm sorry, but I didn't think it would be a problem.
You were wrong. Dead wrong.
That's enough. I think the gentleman understands. Now let's all go back inside, shall we? And Stalker, you and I are going to talk about this later.
I can't wait.
Nothing quite like the excitement of a run.
Wait a minute. Judging by the wide-eyed and clueless look on your face, I'm guessing you're the new deputy. Wonderful. Well, your timing couldn't be worse. I've spent weeks trying to crack this smuggling ring, and I'm about to take a very important meeting.
I wouldn't take that personally. Probably just having a bad day.
Sam Coe. Never thought I'd see you again. Can't say I really want to, either. Not after you turned your back on the rest of us.
I did what I had to do, and I'm at peace with it. If you're gonna hold a grudge, that's your problem, not mine.
I wouldn't count on Sam here to have your back, Deputy. He's likely to disappear on you just when you need him the most. Anyway, like I was saying, I don't have the time to babysit a rookie. Because I've trained new recruits before, and it's not an experience I want to repeat. Yeah, well, you're here now, so we'll just have to make it work. I don't have time to catch you up, so you're gonna have to follow my lead. I'm about to meet with a contact who might be able to give me vital information about the smuggling ring. If you play your cards right and don't do anything stupid, she might be able to help you find Marco. If you're ready, my contact is here and waiting. I'm at a critical point in my investigation, and frankly, your presence here is an unwelcome complication. Now let's just get this over with. She won't be staying long, so I don't have time to brief you. You'll find out everything you need to know when you meet with her. Follow me.
You wouldn't last a minute in the Red Mile. Of course, I probably wouldn't either.
Okay. Hello.
That's really simple out there on the Red Mile. Just don't die.
Is that Donovan Reese? Damn. Guy's a legend.
Yeah, well,
He's run the mile more than anyone alive.
Take a seat.
So you're working with Autumn, huh?
Come on, sit.
Who are you? A woman who's growing increasingly impatient, that's who.
The deputy here is interested in meeting Marco to talk about that mercenary company he's been funding. Since part of that money is coming from his smuggling operation, we're working together.
So you're investigating the first? Why? Seems like a strange thing for a mercenary company to be doing.
I guess an introduction is in order. Like Marco, Jade here is the head of a small smuggling cartel. Difference is her crew stays out of Freestar collective space, while Marco's group operates exclusively within it.
Except now he's looking to expand his operation, and he started moving in on my territory. If you think this gives you some kind of leverage, you're wrong. Sure, he might slow me down for a while, but a little competition won't break me. Because it might get a little awkward if my sister here had to arrest me. That's exactly what this meeting is about. Look, the bad news is, Marco's incredibly paranoid. He never stays in one place for long. The good news is, I know how to find him.
But you're not gonna tell us yet because you want something.
I want the same thing you do. I want Marco out of the picture. But like I said, getting a meeting with him can be damn near impossible. One of the few people who can arrange such a meeting is right here at Red Mile.
May Divine. We've suspected for some time that Red Mile was a meeting place for smugglers. If she's in business with Marco, she won't give him up easily.
She's the owner and manager here. Inherited the place when her husband was killed. May's the key to this whole thing, but I don't know her. Maybe try to get on her good side? Yeah, well, so can she. I can tell you right now what she's gonna want, because it's the same thing she always wants. She wants runners. It's how she makes most of her money. Of course, people that hard-blooded aren't easy to find.
Yeah, well, I'm not going out on the mile. That's a death sentence. There has to be another way.
You've been a ranger long enough that too many people know your face and your name. Runners attract a lot of attention. If someone recognizes you and tips off May, this whole thing is shot. You, on the other hand, are just a deputy. It's pretty unlikely that a lot of people know you.
You don't have to do this. We'll find another way to get to Marco. Someone who volunteers to run the Red Mile, a deadly stretch of terrain just outside the cantina. It's infested with hostile creatures, and few people survive. The ones that do earn a reputation. The Red Mile is incredibly dangerous. I just don't want to see you take a risk like that. All right. It's your call to make.
Planned this out real good, didn't you, Jade? The Freestar Rangers do the dirty work, and you get rid of a rival.
Don't forget the part where the Freestar Rangers get to bring down a big-time criminal, while your deputy friend here gets intel on the first. Seems to me like we're all getting something we want, thanks to my good planning.
If it's really as simple as asking May Divine for a meeting with Marco, then I guess that's all you need to do. We'll wait here for you. Try not to die. Will you?
You're really going to take on the mile, huh?
All right, let's get back to that bank vault.
I took this job so I could be here to see all the runners.
Short now.
All the fun of Neon, plus betting on whether people are gonna survive. Oh, remind me to stay on your good side.
Hey, Mayor May's always looking.
Ah, a new face. I wonder, is this the face of a brave runner here to challenge the Red Mile? Or simply one seeking a respite from the burdens of life? My name is May, and I'm the proprietor of this establishment, home of the famous Red Mile. I assume you're familiar. Well, of course you are. How could you miss hearing about the Settled System's most exciting sporting event? Why, even people from the most backwoods systems like Seoul have heard of the Red Mile. I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have. In the meantime, please enjoy our world's famous hospitality. A rather open-ended question, but I'll do my best. Red Mile was once a notorious haven for the criminal underworld. Thieves, shipjackers, mercenaries, and smugglers would come here to do business, get drunk, and gamble. I cleaned the place up when I took over. I made it, if not quite a family destination, at least a safer one. Red Mile still offers a unique, exciting experience, but our clientele has improved considerably, and we offer a wider range of services. Because I see the potential for Red Mile to become one of the most unique and popular travel destinations in the Settled Systems. Because I want to leave a legacy and be remembered for creating something as unique as it is lucrative. Or perhaps it's because, like so many runners who come here to test themselves, I relish a challenge. I suppose there's no single reason. Let's just say that I feel it's my calling. Well, it's quite simple, really. Once you register with me, we'll have a little pomp and circumstance before sending you on your way out the big red door. Then it's a race to the buzzer at the other end of the course. You'll deal with obstacles and deadly creatures alike, while people up here place bets on how far you'll get. Make it back alive, and you'll stand to win riches and the admiration of your fans. I'm sure you can figure out what happens if you fail. You're too precious! Yes, of course they bet on our runners' lives. We're outside of the colonies and Freestars for a reason. Betting is a huge part of the Red Mile's appeal. How better to make the most exciting sport in the universe more exciting? Repeat runners draw bigger bets. You should ask Donovan how much bets on him were worth before he was forced to retire. Just a little introduction we do to get the fans all worked up. The Red Mile is a spectator sport, after all. Most people don't complete the course, so this is a way to give those unfortunate souls a proper send-off while they can still appreciate it. Of course. And if you're thinking of running, just let me know. I'll be glad to sign you up. I was fortunate to be born into a wealthy family. I used those resources to build an extensive network of contacts across the Settled Systems. Suffice it to say, I had to call in more than a few favors, but with patience and perseverance, I was able to realize my vision. And now, at last, Red Mile is truly a must-see destination for any who wish to experience it for themselves. That is true, but Mr. Graziani values his privacy. What is your business with him, exactly? It's no small favor that you're asking, but yes, I can arrange such a meeting.
It's been too long since we've had proper entertainment. If you're willing to provide it, I'll give you Marco. Are you prepared to run the Red Mile? Good. Once you've begun, I'll collect bets from our patrons who will place wagers on your survival. I'm afraid not. But I'm sure your confidence will inspire our patrons to place substantial wagers on your survival. That's what every runner says.
I wish I shared your optimism. The mile's very real.
Now that we're clear on what's expected of you, are you ready to begin? Please do. Unprepared runners tend not to last very long on the mile. Very well. Follow me.
Testing yourself against the mile.
Your attention, please. Valued patrons and honored guests. For one brave soul, the hour of things at hand. Yes! A runner has come to test the Red Mile! Now is your chance to get a good look at our fearless challenger as you contemplate your wagers. Do you see the fire in those eyes? What is that if not steely determination? I think you'll agree that we're in for quite a show! The rules are simple. Go through the door and take the elevator down to where the mile begins. Activate the beacon at the base of the tower you'll see in the distance. Once you've done so, return here alive and your run will be complete. Go now, runner, and see if you can survive the mile!
Oh, jeez. Sorry, you startled me.
Well done, runner. Now all you need to do is return alive. Unfortunately, the beacon tends to attract unwanted attention. Good luck.
Congratulations, Runner. You have succeeded where most have failed. In fact, you seem none the worse for wear.
You better stop messing with my unit, or there are gonna be consequences.
Oh, you mean
Indeed you have, and in most impressive fashion. As promised, I'll set up your meeting with Marco. I'll dispatch a courier to let him know you're coming. Please take a moment to relax and enjoy our hospitality. I'll return shortly.
the occasional pirate?
You'll be talking to the other side of my boat if you keep trying to strike up a conversation.
Hey.
If it were up to me, I'd fire the lot of you right now. Chances with the pirate.
You made it. You're back. Are you okay?
Meanwhile, here's some free advice. Next time you get drunk, try picking a fight with someone.
Really? Either the Red Mile's reputation is exaggerated or you're just that good. Anyway, I'm relieved you made it through okay.
Why? Afraid you'd lose all that work you put into your smuggling investigation?
I wouldn't expect you to understand. All you see in people is what you can get from them. I'm glad, because that was an incredibly brave thing you did. And we need rangers with that kind of courage. Also, I owe you an apology. I was pretty awful to you at first. I'm sorry about that. You're right. Let's focus on the job. Once you're on your way, I'll return to the Rock and let the Marshal know what's going on. Come home safe, Deputy. That's an order.
You always were the soft one, little sister.
Oh, go to hell. Or at least make yourself useful and get us some drinks.
May runs a tidy establishment. Let's go.
Hello. Time for me to keep my promise, Runner? You can find Marco on Kodos aboard his ship. I'd advise you not to keep him waiting. He is not exactly patient. Only that someone wanted a meeting. Don't expect to catch him unprepared. He keeps a sizable force of mercenaries aboard his ship as bodyguards. He's intelligent, well-connected, and utterly ruthless. He's also a man of taste who appreciates the finer things. You'll find out soon enough what I mean. Good. Travel safely, Runner. Should you ever crave the challenge of the mile again, it will be here, waiting for you.
I had a feeling about you.
Play by the house rules. You'll find yourself on the other side of an airlock without a helmet.
You the runner?
Boss is in the back.
Marco's done well for himself. One might say too well. I mean, I would say that at least.
This music is gonna put me to sleep.
Beat the Red Mile, huh?
Why don't we have a room like this? Just full of knock your socks off trophies. You know, really flaunt our success. Welcome. May's message didn't exactly make it clear why you wanted to meet with me. If you're looking for work, my organization is always in need of pilots and security personnel, willing to take risks. You've heard of the First, I take it. I'm not just a member, I also help to fund the outfit through a network of independent traders. Of course, illicit goods are the most lucrative, so there is a constant need for skilled pilots. Ah, I see. You did well to find me. I'm not an easy man to locate. Though I suppose we haven't exactly been keeping a low profile lately. Given the nature of the contract, a degree of exposure was always a risk, but a calculated one. To be honest, I think the Major is all but spoiling for a confrontation with the Rangers. Still, I confess, I'm a little disappointed that the Marshal sent a deputy instead of a full-fledged Ranger. This deputy might just surprise you, Marco. And who might you be? The name's Sam Coe.
A name well known across the Freestar Collective. It's an honor to welcome a descendant of the great Solomon Coe.
Yeah, well, that name probably means more to you than it does to me.
Your deputy friend here could have a bright future, assuming we all keep our heads. To settle accounts. Major Hall served with distinction during the Colony War. But the leaders of the Freestar Collective, they turned on him. In his eyes, the Rangers are enforcers for a corrupt Council of Governors. That makes you his enemy. As for me, I didn't see any profit in nursing that grudge. I prefer to focus on the future. That's right. Major Hall spent 20 years in lockup nursing a grudge against the Freestar Collective. We all did. A lot of good men and women died for nothing because of those cowards you work for. You've chosen your side, and I've chosen mine. I'm not sure you are grasping the situation here, Deputy. You are on my ship, outnumbered by my guards, who will kill you without hesitation. I'm a businessman. If you expect me to cooperate, I'm going to want something in return. I won't tell you everything. I do still have some loyalty to my unit. However, I can point you in the right direction. In exchange, I want the Rangers to let me operate with a free hand. I have a better idea. Instead, I tell you something you don't want to know. But you should. The Council of Governors is a group of greedy and corrupt liars who are using you and the other Rangers to protect their own interests. Do you really think they give a damn about the people of the Freestar Collective? If being in the 1st Cavalry taught me anything, it's that blind loyalty gets you killed. Time you learn the same.
Got another one!
Got one. And down.
I specialize in cryptography. A lot of smugglers use coded slates, so it comes in handy. Hey there, Deputy. How goes the hunt for the first? Good, good. If you ask me, I don't think they stand a chance. You're like an Ashta creeping silently through the high grass, waiting for your chance to pounce, and then boom! Down they'll go. So, did you get any more of those encrypted slates? Because, let me tell you, I am so close. Oh, come to Daddy, you sweet little piece of technology. You go stalk your prey and leave the rest to me, Deputy.
Sit down.
While you've been in the field, we've had more reports about farmers being threatened and attacked. Unfortunately, some didn't survive. Not really, no. We can't be everywhere at once. Right now, our best hope to stop them is you. It's worse. It's tragic. How's your investigation proceeding? That's assuming he finds something useful. Otherwise, you'll be no better off than when you started.
Come on, Emma. You know as well as I do how tough this job is.
That's exactly my point. When it comes to deciding who earns a Ranger's badge, I will not compromise.
Let's move on. I asked the other Rangers to share their opinions of you, and there are some things I want to go over. We'll start with Ranger Callow in Hopetown. She was grateful for your timely arrival, and impressed you had the guts to take on those pirates. Nia says you were respectful with Ron Hope and didn't push too hard. That shows me you were listening when I said to go easy on him. Exactly. Dealing with the Council can be tough, but it comes with a badge. No need to make it harder than it already is.
Let's continue. We got a detailed report from Ranger Price about your recent visit to Neon. He said you met an informant who asked for your help, but you talked him out of it. Use you? The way I hear it, he was fearing for his life and looking for help. You don't get to ignore your duty when it's inconvenient. That's the right way to think about it. You definitely went above and beyond, and the Marshal and I thank you for that.
You got results, and that's what matters most. Price was impressed by that. Said you really took the initiative.
Ranger McMillan praised what she called your uncommon bravery and dedication. She said you took on the Red Mile so you could get a meeting with Marco Graziani. Putting the lives of others ahead of our own comes with the job. I'm sure it was a tough call, but I think it was the right one.
So what happened with Marco? I doubt he gave you that slate out of the kindness of his heart. I suppose underestimating you was his last mistake. Damn. I thought if anyone could see reason, it'd be Marco. What about Maya Cruz? Her loyalty to Hull and the 1st Cavalry was stronger than most. I guess I'd want the same thing if I were in her place.
Excuse me, Marshal?
Not now, Alex. We're in a meeting here.
I know, but this is important. I've done it. I've cracked the encryption on the slates. Now, I don't know exactly where the First are headquartered, but there are references to a place called the Factory.
The Factory? That was our nickname for the main facility where the mechs were manufactured.
Under the terms of the peace treaty, they shut all the mech factories down right after the war.
But they didn't destroy them. At least not all of them. Never saw it myself, but I know it's a large facility mostly underground. If the First are occupying it, they'll probably have set up defensive positions throughout the complex. The facility was on Arcturus 2. It could be a dead end, but if it's not, then you'd better be ready for a fight.
If I seem strict, it's because I'm protecting the integrity of the Freestar Rangers.
Home sweet home.
Gonna add you to my kill list. You really should have stayed home.
Enemy shield system has been damaged. Those that grab right.
Clean next time I go in there.
Get your dad? I promise. Their shield system is damaged.
Round to atone. You understand?
Fine, okay. Go.
Weapons hot.
The target's shields are offline.
Shields are gone.
Fights like these are my favorite.
This is Paxton Hall, commanding officer first. Marshal Blake must be getting desperate sending a lone deputy out here. But I'll give credit where it's due. You're a hell of a pilot. If you came here seeking justice, it's waiting for you inside.
I'm a man of action. I've got no use for lies. So when I tell you that you're being manipulated, you know I'm telling the truth. You think the Council of Governors really cares about anything but themselves? They're greedy and corrupt. You're a tool in the hands of the unworthy, just like I once was. I was loyal. I followed orders, and I led good men and women to their deaths. I'll carry the stain of that dishonor to my grave. The 1st Cavalry was the greatest fighting force the Freestar Collective has ever seen. At the Battle of Nira, the 1st Cavalry was destroyed. Why? Because the generals got scared and asked for a truce. I've got no sympathy for cowards, or for the people who put them in power. I've also got no sympathy for those who do their bidding. And this means you. Come here seeking justice? Well, what about justice for my soldiers? Minutes away, minutes from winning the battle and the war, when the ceasefire order came down. Now there's a debt of honor, and the people who betrayed us, the people of the Freestar Collective, are going to pay. You just took on some of the best mercenaries in the Freestar Collective and cut right through them. If we'd have had more like you in the war, we could have planted our flag in New Atlantis. You fought because you had to, and you fought well. Don't apologize for that. More importantly, you survived. Most soldiers don't. I know, because I'm the one who led them to their death. You don't know what it's like to look around and see the faces of warriors who trusted you to lead them as they die screaming. I watched brave men and women torn limb from limb by monsters. I saw mech pilots cooked alive in their cockpits as their machines burned. Those deaths didn't have to be meaningless, but spineless leaders gave up on us, even when victory was within our grasp.
I've heard stories about the Battle of Nira. Can't imagine what it was like to see the horrors you've seen.
You pity me? Is that it? You haven't earned the right to pity me. You really want to know? Because you might not like the answer. Last chance, Deputy. You can walk away right now and remain blissfully ignorant, thinking you fight for a noble cause. But if you still want the truth, I'll shatter that illusion for you right now. Because I can prove it. You'll see. We'll see about that. Not long after I started the first, I was contacted by a man who said he represented someone wealthy and influential. I refused to work for a shadow client, so he agreed to set up a meeting. Imagine my surprise when Ron Hope showed up. He offered me a lucrative contract to take possession of certain farms throughout Freestar space.
Ron Hope? But he's on the Council of Governors. There's no chance he'd be capable of such a thing.
To keep the Rangers off the scent, Hope wanted to hit a lot of places quickly and finish whatever he was doing before word spread. We needed another ship to meet his timetable, so he gave us the intel necessary to steal one from his factory. It also let him play the victim and keep suspicion to a minimum. All I know is that after we cleared the place out, Hope was sending in some kind of machinery. Our job was to make sure nobody saw the operation. Sure I did. The money was good, but the payback was the real reward. If I could avenge my men, make some credits, and eventually expose a member of the council, well, that, my friend, is my definition of justice. You think I've lost? Is that it? I haven't lost. You go find Ron Hope and tell him what I've told you. Then you can deal out whatever justice you see fit. You do your job, and I get one last piece of vengeance against the Council.
Damn. I don't want to do this guy's dirty work, but we can't let Hope get away with it, can we?
Don't bother.
He should face justice, but I'm not sure he's gonna come quietly.
I'm gonna make this easy for you, Deputy. I'm gonna die the way I lived. Weapon in hand, no compromise, no fear. But first, here, take this. Use it to cut out the weakness rotting at the heart of the Freestar Collective. When the next war comes, and it will come, the Collective needs to be strong. Now my unit's waiting for me, and I'm gonna report for duty one last time. Goodbye, Deputy.
Everything's blurry. Hit in the head.
Well earned, Burkett. Set some ambitious quotas, and you met every one.
I don't want to hear any complaints.
Well,
You are,
it was easy, but everyone
one of
pulled
a
together
kind.
and got it done.
I'll let you share the good news, whenever and however you like. Good to see you again. Well, I've just received a report from the Marshal about your progress. He said you had a promising lead on the mercenaries who stole my ship. I trust you're here with good news? Of course. What have you learned? No, and I don't care for the insinuation. The disgraced war hero who went to prison, and you actually believed him? Don't presume to question me. You know who I am. That two-faced bastard kept the slate. Oh, I suppose this is his revenge against the Council of Governors for what happened during the war. I'm impressed, Deputy. It's clear you have a bright future ahead of you.
What's going on? What is this about, Mr. Hope?
Nothing that concerns you, Birgit. In fact, why don't you make yourself scarce?
I think I'd like to hear what the deputy has to say.
Just hear me out, and you'll see. I had a good reason for what I did. The truth is, we've been falling behind the competition. Significantly so. We needed solutions. A few years ago, I began to diversify. We started to research chemicals, fuel, those sort of things. We developed an experimental fertilizer. And it failed utterly. It wiped out entire crops. I was prepared to write the whole thing off when we made a discovery that changed everything. Turns out, our fertilizer was transforming the soil, bolstering its mineral content tenfold. Mining is expensive, and so is the cost of raw materials. My mineral-enriching fertilizer solves several problems at once. The farmers provide free manual labor, and once the land is ready, we move in to extract and process the soil.
You tricked them into poisoning their own land for your benefit.
I have a business to run. I can't afford to spend a credit more than I absolutely have to, Mr. Coe. Look around you. Everyone in this building, in this town, is depending on me. I provide the jobs that put food on their tables, clothes on their backs, and roofs over their heads. The fact is, the business hasn't been doing well lately. Without drastic action, cuts would become unavoidable. These people work hard for me. and they trust me to do the same in return. I will not let them down. Look, I'll level with you. We're falling behind the competition. The hardworking people of this town depend on me for their livelihoods, and I won't let them down. Cutting my costs means saving their jobs.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. How could you do something so awful to innocent people, to families?
Not another word out of you, Birgit. I can take your job, and more. We'll discuss this later. In any case, I suppose the gig is up. I give you my word that I'll call off the operation and return the land to its rightful owners. You're right. Yeah, those families deserve to be compensated for the inconvenience. Perhaps a discount on their next purchase from Hope Tech.
A coupon? I can't believe this guy.
With that resolved, let's talk about you. As a member of the Council of Governors, I'm authorized to award you a substantial bonus. And of course, we'll both agree to forget about my little cost-cutting endeavor. Did I not make myself clear? I'm offering you a reward for a job well done. Nothing more. And with that job so capably done, we'll consider the matter closed. I'll be needing that slate from Major Hull, of course. Well, let's not be too hasty, Deputy. There's something else you need to consider. I'll do what's necessary to protect my company and my employees. If you tell anyone about this, you're risking their livelihoods. Do you really want to put all these people out of work and make their families suffer? But on a much larger scale, yes. Justice can be complicated, Deputy. Sometimes the cost of exacting justice is greater than the cost of doing nothing. I'll make myself very plain. I won't let you jeopardize my reputation, this company, or the people who work for me. If that means you suffer an unfortunate incident at the hands of my security personnel, so be it. I'm important. You're nothing.
You're not actually threatening to attack a Freestar Ranger, are you?
Careful. I think he means business.
You just threatened a member of the Council of Governors. On my authority, you're stripped of rank, declared an outlaw. Guards! Dispose of this criminal!
Oh, not my day. Take the good stuff, leave the rest.
He tried to have you killed. I don't understand. Mr. Hope always seemed like such a good person. But everything he said about the farmers and hiring those mercenaries, it was so awful. I'm just a little in shock. I'm still not sure I understand what happened. A conspiracy to steal farmland? It's just so hard to believe. That's not the Ron Hope I know. No, you're wrong. That's not all he was. He always looked out for us, for his employees. I know what I just heard and saw, but he was a friend. No. He was more like a father. And now he's... You killed him. Nobody should ever want that. Especially when it means killing someone who meant so much to so many people. What happens to us now? That would be Elana. Elana Nwankwo. She seems pretty capable. Maybe we'll be okay after all. I guess we'll have to figure things out. Find a path forward.
There's a lot of smart, hardworking people here. You'll figure it out.
Hey, Deputy.
You're back. Good to see you back safe, Deputy. What's the word on the mech factory? Were the mercenaries hiding out there? I take it that they weren't too much trouble for you, given that you're standing here. Did you find out why the First was taking over farms? What? Ron Hope? That's one hell of an accusation, Deputy.
Are you really that surprised? Hope's always had a reputation as a man who'd do anything to succeed.
He's on the damn council, Emma.
So he can make laws favorable to his business interests. Sure, he's known to look after his people, but do you really think he gives a damn about some farmers on Montara Luna?
Did Hope explain his motives at all? That has a familiar ring to it.
I recall hearing about some Hope Tech initiative to help farmers. At the time, I just figured it was a PR stunt. Seems a little more sinister now.
Please, tell me you've got some evidence to back up these extraordinary claims. All right, let's see what you've got. Interesting. Yeah, this is pretty damning. Especially this last bit about destroying the slate. And you confronted Hope about this? Sounds like his pride got the best of him. Damn. This is going to send shockwaves throughout the Freestar Collective. If the people can't trust their leaders, anarchy could follow.
Have a little faith, Daniel. We're not the United Colonies. One bad apple won't spoil the whole damn barrel.
Easy for you to say. You ain't the marshal.
Not yet, but you ain't gonna live forever, old man.
While we've got you here, there's one last piece of business to take care of. Emma, would you please?
With pleasure, Marshal. When you first joined us, I told you that you'd undergo an evaluation process. There's one thing left to do. A simple question. Do you feel ready to wear the badge of a full-fledged Freestar Ranger? Good. Duty and honor are the backbone of the Freestar Rangers. Marshal, I approve the deputy for advancement to the rank of Ranger.
Thank you, Ranger Wilcox. In your time serving as a deputy, you've shown exceptional courage, fearless tenacity, and a high regard for the safety of our citizens. By the authority granted to me by the Council of Governors, I hereby promote you to the rank of Ranger. Here's your badge. Wear it with pride. But don't forget the solemn responsibility it represents.
Congratulations. You truly deserve it.
I know you will, Ranger. Let's hear it for our new Ranger.
We got a lot of bars in this city. All class joints.
Great job,
Well,
Ranger.
except Aggies.
Any Terramore storm. Okay, no problem.
Welcome to Akila.